Early in my career, I secured a job at a corporate company that I thought would be my big break. But little did I know, they let me go just 8 months later. I was devastated and didn't feel like I had enough experience to run my business on my own. But I took what I learned and kept it pushing. I went on to work jobs that were unfulfilling just to make ends meet. It wasn't until a few years later that I finally felt ready to take a leap of faith into full-time entrepreneurship. I had rebranded myself, my business, and the timing just felt so right. But within less than a year, entrepreneurship started to kick my butt financially, physically, and spiritually. But it drew me closer to God and stretched my faith. I knew that if I didn't keep showing up consistently, I would never see the success that I was meant to see and have to financially depend on a job. If I moved past being let go, I would see that I had more than enough experience to confidently show up for myself and my business. After realizing the tools I already had, tapping into my faith, and stylishly showing up in the right spaces, my business generated over $15K in less than 9 months, and I secured opportunities that elevated my career. Fast forward to almost 10 years later, and SCB Luxury Styling is on a whole new level, helping faith-driven women entrepreneurs and CEOs command their God-given authority with faith and style. But it wasn't an easy road to success for me. After my first year experiencing full-time entrepreneurship, I went back to work twice. And although they were amazing companies that I could see myself growing with, both of them let me go effective immediately. At that point, I knew I couldn't depend on a job to qualify me. God was positioning me to not only run my own company, but to serve my clients the right way.
So if you were just to take I have 50 potential clients, I'm going to BCC them on an email using Gmail. You don't get any information. You don't get to find out how many people opened the email. You don't get to find out how many people clicked. If you put a link to book on your calendar, you won't see how many people clicked. So we are becoming styled bosses. We're not, Sally Mae stylists with their homemade styling business sending out, Pony Express a letter. You want styling services? Let me wait, for a response, for the pigeon to deliver the response, the message in the bottle. No, we're being business owners. We are tracking. Wow, this subject line didn't perform. Nobody opened this freaking email. Wow, this one everyone opened and clicked through. Why are they not booking calls with me? Oh shit, the link was broken and they can't book on the calendar. This is valuable information. So putting on our boss pants and investing in something like Lead Pages, taking the time to learn the technology to get something like a MailChimp or a Drip set in your business early will pay off just dividends in the end. I'm so glad that I did this in the beginning. I'm so glad that when I started my YouTube channel, I immediately started capturing leads. Immediately. The first video, I had a freebie. And that's how I've been able to capture so many email addresses over the years and sell them product.
Hey y'all, so welcome back to another Building a Styling Business vlog. In the beginning of this video, you saw my finalized brand story. So I know I talked through my brand story in the last video when we went through module 4. Since then, I've kind of redefined it and really made sure that it included my faith, and it really, got straight to the point when it comes to my actual story and why I became a personal stylist. Since then, I've moved through module 5, module 6, and module 7. So I did module 5 a while ago, but of course I didn't record the process. And then I went on vacation. And then when I came back, module 6 and 7 were released. So I really wanted to make sure that I focused in on that so I can make sure that I was all caught up. We're in the week before the last week of May. So this week, module 8 is coming out. And I'm all caught up for the most part. I'm actually working through the last bit of module 7 today so that when module 8 comes out, I'll be good to go. But I wanted to just go over real quickly what module 5 and module 6 consisted of. Module 5 was very in-depth, and it really talked about the services that serve and what we sell. Lauren really broke down the difference between what our client wants and what our client actually needs. Some of the moments, the aha moments that I had throughout module 5, I realized that what I was offering was very surface level. What I was talking about was very surface level, and not to say that that's a bad thing, because I was talking about all of what my client wants as far as a capsule wardrobe. I help them to define their body shape, and I help them to find clothes that fit their shape and flatter their shape and all of those great things, which is awesome because that's what I want to do. But that's all of what I said, what I want and what the client wants, but it's not necessarily what they need. So I realized that what I was actually offering my audience, like I said, was very surface level. So what they were receiving was exactly what they asked for, and it wasn't necessarily sticking. So like, I would send my clients lookbooks, or I would curate outfits for them, or I would pick things out for them. And in the back of their mind, they were always like, or some of them were always like, well, I don't feel like I can wear that, or that isn't really, what I was looking for, or that really, I feel like that really doesn't fit who I want to be, or whatever. And what Lauren was teaching us in module 5 is that we really need to dig deeper into what the client actually needs. And that's where more of our expertise comes in, and that mindset shifting comes in too. I was able to, my breakfast is ready, but real quick, I was able to really curate an irresistible offer that really made sure that I was hitting my clients' wants, but also hitting their needs as far as them needing a wardrobe that aligns with their body shape because they take forever to get dressed, or because they aren't really confident in what they're wearing, or because they don't love their body. So I need to create some type of work or some type of mindset shifting that needs to happen in order for them to feel more confident in their bodies, for them to really see themselves the way that I see them, or the way that God sees them, or whatever else. So that's what we talked about in module 5. She also mentioned that, we want to take our clients through a journey, which is what I thought I was doing. And I kind of was, but it wasn't to the extent that I was supposed to take them through. She broke it down into 7 different stages. So stage 1 is the client inquiry. So of course, that's when the client, inquires about your services and wants to learn more about, what your business does and how your business can help them and all of those good things. Stage 2 is the client actually makes a purchase. So this part was a little interesting to me because typically my business is only 3 steps. So I did the client inquiry, which is my style discovery call. Then we moved to the client consultation, which is when I learn more about the client and really collect all the necessary data and information that I need to make sure that I'm properly servicing the client. And then step 3 is when I actually do the work. I provide the service. But I felt like I was losing clients within just those 3 steps. Not to say that your client journey has to be long and drawn out, because 3 to 7 steps is a big jump. But just to make sure that you as a service provider is really making sure that the client is confident in their purchase and their investment of you, making sure that you provide them with the necessary work and really set the expectations for what they're going to receive. And also, of course, making sure that you gather the necessary information that you need so that you can make sure that you're providing the proper service or giving the client what they actually want on top of what they need. So back to her breakdown of the stages. Stage 2 was the client makes the purchase. And to me, I was confused because I'm like, okay, well, the client usually doesn't invest in my service until after step 2, my step 2, which was the consultation. So I really needed to make sure that I understood, like, okay, the client inquiry is where I'm actually, of course, learning about the client and telling them about what I do. But at that point, I'm also securing the client at stage 1, so that when I have them right in front of me, they're ready to move into stage 2 and actually make that purchase or invest in my package. And at that time, I was also a little confused because I'm like, I have 3 different packages. Like, I don't really know which one is the best option for them until after we talk and really dig deeper and all of those things. But Lauren suggested that it's best to just have that one premium offer. That offer is what's going to be your high ticket offer, what people invest in, what all of your clients will be investing in. With that, of course, you can have more offers, but it's really important to focus in on that premium offer that is the offer that you do with your client. I'm not going to go too deep into, the types of offers you can have, but the top 3 that she suggests that we have is do it yourself, which is DIY, which is going to be your low ticket option and offer. Do it with you, which is your premium offer, which is what you do with the client. So that means you are doing the work, but the client also has some work to do too. And then do it for you, which means you're doing all the work for the client and they can just kick back and relax. And that is your highest priced offer. So moving through the stages, stage 3 is reinforcing your purchase decision or the client's purchase decision. So this means that, you're thanking the client for purchasing and investing in your offer. And this is when you're actually giving them the pre-work or work to actually do that. And to me, that's the mindset work that needs to be done in order for the client to have that full on transformation that they are, investing in. Stage 4 is gathering the customer data. So this is the consultation. This is when you either meet your client in person or virtually, and you really talk through their body shape, their measurements, and really learn about their style preferences, learn about their life prior to working with you, some of their challenges and all of those things that, is really encouraging them to want to even reach out to a stylist. Stage 5 is the main event. So this is when all the work happens. This is when you go shopping for the client. This is when you start actually doing the fun part. Stage 6 is when you've done all the work and now you are figuring out what you want to happen after. So the post event. So this is when you can send a lookbook to confirm all the looks that you've curated. This is when you really close out the service that you're providing. And then stage 7 is you checking in. This is you checking in and just making sure that, they've received everything that they've wanted and everything also that they've needed, and also getting that testimonial. But really knowing these stages really helped me to curate a client journey that makes sense for me and my client. So I was able to really do that. And I'm not really going to go deep into what my client journey is, but I wanted to give you guys those stages so you can then create your own client journey and really figure out okay, what exactly do I need to do to make sure that my client is receiving what they want and what they're asking for, but also receiving what they actually need. So what I'm providing them is going to stick and it's going to transform their life like I said it would. Because you can say you're going to do all these things for them, but if your premium offer isn't giving them the results that they want, then you're being counterproductive. You're not really doing what they are looking for. And of course you want to do that because you want them to come back. You want them to refer you to other people, and you just want to continue bringing in business that is just like them if they fit your ICA. Moving on to module 6. So in module 6, she called it a brand called you. And that's where we really broke down our brand. This is when we figured out what we want our brand to represent, what we want our brand to look like. So of course I want my brand to represent sophistication, chicness, seriousness, honesty, relatability, professionalism, of course fun, and classic, because that's who I am. So I created a Pinterest board and pulled together some images that really represent what my brand is, and I'm going to add the link here so that you guys can go check it out and just get some inspiration from it. But I also created a Canva vision board as well, that really a bunch of Canva image boards that represent my career and how I see myself as a personal stylist, my personal style and my appearance, my home and my future home, what I want it to look like, material things that I want, designer things that I want in my closet. So I created all of those things to really bring my vision to life. But also she wants us to create our brand. So that plays along the lines with your logo, your brand colors, different patterns that represent your brand fonts. All of these things come into play when it comes to really creating a visual brand. This all plays a part into your social media content, your email marketing, and what you look like and what you wear and what you represent. So all of these things come into play. This module was very quick and easy because I already had a logo. So it's just a matter of figuring out, what my font was. I had no idea what my font was. My boyfriend is my graphic designer, so he had to tell me. I also went through, I'm still in the process of going through and picking out the remainder of the fonts that I want to use and really solidifying the colors that I want to use as well. She suggested that we use 1 to 2 primary colors, 1 to 2 accent colors, and then 1 to 2 neutral colors. And then my brand fonts, like I mentioned, in different patterns as well that I want to represent my brand. I finished module 6. So as of now, I'm finishing up, like I mentioned, module 7. So when I finish that, I'm actually gonna walk you guys through module 7 as well, because module 7 actually really talks about your content and your marketing strategy, which relates to the video that you saw Lauren earlier in this video. She was talking about email marketing, which I always talk about is super important because social media can disappear tomorrow. We don't own anything on social media but the pictures that we post. We don't own our followers. We don't own any of that information. So if social media disappeared tomorrow, like how can you still run your business? And email marketing is the key to that. And I feel like I always talk about that. And it took me a while to realize that. It took me a while to really figure out how to start building my emailing list. All that stuff takes time. Thankfully, I've already gone through that process, and now I'm in a space where I can email my audience and get what I'm asking for, but I'm also in a space where I'm learning more about my audience and how to talk to them and how to really, you know, like get more of what I want. So I'm gonna come back once I eat breakfast and really talk through module 7 with y'all. Hey y'all, so it's a few hours later, and I'm actually about to do an interview with a potential client, but Lauren, my coach, suggested that we reach out to our audience, put it out there that we want to do interviews to just learn more about what the client is wanting and needing, and just more about their relationship with style. So a week ago, before I left for DR, I did about 3 or 4 interviews, and I have 2 more. So I have this one today, and then I have another one on the 30th of next week. I believe that's next week. Yeah. So these are the last 2 interviews I'm doing. So I have a selection of questions that I'm gonna ask them, and she's on here now, but I'm gonna give her a minute because I still need to make sure that I'm fully prepared. I also need to pull up the questions that I'm going to ask her as well. Oh yeah, they're on I'm being so dramatic, y'all. They're on my Google Doc. I'll talk to y'all later. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How are you doing today?
I'm plugging along.
Yeah.
Thursday. It's almost the end of the week.
I know. And it's a holiday, so we're going into a long week, so you'll have some time to relax. But I definitely appreciate you taking out time of your day to do this interview for me. As I mentioned in the email, I'm in the process of revamping my offering and just making sure that I'm giving my audience what they want, but also what they need. So this interview is very casual. I actually have on my running outfit. I just came from running outside. So I'm not all dressed up today, but I just want your honest opinions, your honest responses, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm recording, and I will be recording. Hopefully that's okay.
That's fine.
Great.
Recording in progress.
And what else did I want to ask? I think that was pretty much it before we get started. Okay, cool. So I did notice in your email that you're located in Maryland. So what part of Maryland are you located in?
Just outside of Baltimore, a small town called Catonsville. So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
in the suburbs.
I went to high school at Western Tech, so very familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago. I know I still look young, but I'm very familiar with Catonsville. And your occupation, psychologist, right?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
I've been a psychologist almost 20 years now. Yeah.
Hey y'all, so I'm back from doing my interview. I gave y'all a little sneak peek about what we talked about, but it went really well. I'm so glad that I was able to step past my fear and do this, because I'm really able to gather all the necessary data that I need to really make sure that the direction that I'm moving in with my business is actually the right direction. Thankfully, majority of the women that I've been speaking with, I really feel like for the most part, they fit my ICA profile. So I'm really excited. And the woman that I just spoke with, spot on for the most part. But I wanted to come back and talk through module 7. So module 7 is the module that I am currently finishing up right now before we hop into module 8. And module 7 is all about your content and marketing strategy. Lauren really took us through quite a few different lessons to talk about why putting yourself out there matters, and of course, content and social media marketing. She really broke down how it's important to have specific goals in mind when creating your content, which is something that I always talk about. And also making sure that you are picking the right platforms where your clients are on, creating the right type of content, how to create attention-grabbing content, keys for success when it comes to your content, how to actually use your content to turn your engagement and your followers and all of those things into actual paying customers. So she really took us through a whole thing. As I'm working with women entrepreneurs and CEOs, I specifically am going to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been my bread and butter. LinkedIn has allowed me to really position myself as an expert. It's been a space where, of course, I found opportunities for jobs, but also a space where a lot of potential clients come through. And I've gotten some really great clients from LinkedIn. Hold on, let me shoot. Okay. So I think LinkedIn is my primary social media platform. Now she asked us to choose a secondary social media platform, and I'm kind of torn between YouTube and IG. Of course, IG is everything, because as a stylist, we're visual, I like to see things. I'm a visual learner. But also, y'all know, YouTube has been such a saving grace. For me specifically, I have a camera now. I record vlogs, I record educational videos, but I just love video because it's so much easier for me to talk to who I want to talk to, show my personality, and just I like editing videos and putting them out there. It's a toss-up between YouTube and IG. Now, honestly, YouTube will probably come first, but just because I'm choosing these two platforms doesn't mean I'm only going to be just on these two platforms. I'm going to present myself on as many platforms as I can. I still have a Facebook account. I have a Twitter, but it's not for my personal self. It's for Black women who style. Of course, I have IG. Of course, I have LinkedIn, a YouTube. What other social media platforms do I have? Oh, I have a TikTok. I have a Pinterest. So I have a little bit of everything, but I'm really only going to focus most of my time and my efforts on LinkedIn and YouTube, and just repurpose that content on those other platforms to make my life easier. And you should be doing the same thing. So when it comes to content creation, she mentioned that there were 3 different types of content creation. So we have your audience building content, which is that broad content that helps to bring in that engagement, helps to bring in, the views, the likes, and all of those things. So she called it SEO driven content, SEO. So that is search engine optimization. I knew that. I just drew a blank. But yeah, so that SEO content that is searchable and easy and, kind of broad, but still, brings in those people. It gets people excited. It brings those people in. But then you have your thought leader content that establishes you as an expert. So this is when you're providing those tips, that advice, that information that is a little bit different from what everybody else is talking about, at least for me, but it's enlightening your audience and it's really giving them a different perspective on what you do. That's how I understood it. And then last but not least, you have your purchase provoking content. So this content is the content that, of course, you are really focusing in on your audience's pain points and speaking to their pain points, and also content that encourages your audience to buy from you. So this content is a little bit more specific to what you do, a little bit more specific to what you offer, more specific to, of course, the problem that you solve. And that's when you start getting those clients that you would hope to get. And that's pretty much what she broke down. So she asked us, of course, to pick the platforms we want to be on, come up with content creation ideas for each type of content section or category. So I came up with 25 different pieces of content ideas for audience building content, for the thought leader content, and for the purchase provoking content. And y'all, I mixed in pieces of things that came to my mind, but also I use ChatGPT. If you're not using ChatGPT, then you definitely should. It's a really, really great tool. That's AI. Of course, everybody's talking about it, but it saves you a lot of time. But also, you got to know how to use it. So, of course, you got to use it, and you got to nurture it. So really typing in things that are very specific to your business and your brand in the beginning, so the system can have a better understanding of what you do and how your business works. Of course, I'm at a space where I've done that already, so I easily just typed in, give me 25 different thought-provoking content ideas that I can use for SCB luxury styling, and a whole list of things came up. Of course, I read through them and I picked out my favorites. I didn't choose everything, but it was definitely a lifesaver, a game changer for me. So the next thing she talked about was from content to customer. So this is pretty much calling or picking out those call to actions. So when you're posting your content, how are you actually going to turn those views and that engagement into actually paying customers? So some of the pieces or some of the types of call to actions that I came up with, of course, was encouraging people to book a style discovery call with me. Or I might end up changing that name, but we'll see. But it's pretty much the inquiry call, the free call that every person has before they work with me. Of course, getting people to download a freebie. When they download freebies, of course, I get their email address and I'm able to add them into my mailing list. Signing up for a free workshop or webinar or masterclass, which I love doing, haven't done in a while, but I love doing those. Of course, getting in people's DMs and really encouraging them to sign up for whatever I have that's free, downloading whatever I have that's free, and or just making a straight up purchase. I have an ebook that's a low ticket offer that could be that thing that I do that with. Today, what I watched, which is the last piece of module 7, is email marketing. So I love email marketing. I used to hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I used to hate it, but I really, really enjoy email marketing because social media is so annoying sometimes. It's just a lot that goes into it. And it's a lot that goes into email marketing too. But because I feel like I'm so good with words and I know how to really at least I'm learning how to really talk to my audience, email marketing has been my jam. And for the past couple of days, the past couple of emails I've been sending, people have actually been responding back to my emails. So I like it. With this module, I'm actually working through creating a new freebie. I created a whole list of freebie ideas and just really making sure that I create a landing page for it and all of the things. So I'm probably gonna start working more on this tomorrow, or finish working more on this tomorrow, because I already did a lot today, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I kept you guys updated with everything that I'm doing. One of the freebies that I'm creating is an ebook that is called, or it's going to be about, the Capsule Wardrobe Essentials, the ultimate guide to building a versatile and stylish wardrobe. So lately on social media, I haven't been posting, but before I took my hiatus, I was really talking about capsule wardrobes, and people love it and I love it too. And I feel like that's really the key to really one of the keys to unlocking your true style, really creating a capsule wardrobe that works, that fits your body shape, that works for your lifestyle, and that makes sense for your personality and just you in general. So I really want to create a free offer, a freebie that really talks about that. I want to include the wardrobe essentials checklist that I created. I want to break down what a capsule wardrobe actually is. I want to break down the 3 things you need to know in order to create a capsule wardrobe. I want to break down the types of pieces each capsule wardrobe should have or should consist of. Talk about color stories and all of those things in that ebook. Now, I'm not going to go super duper into detail because it's a free offer, but I'm going to give them just enough that adds that value and that really makes them want to move on to the next step, which is hopefully scheduling a free call with me. So I hope all of this made sense and was enlightening to you as a personal stylist and just gave you an idea of what you can work on in your business to really make sure that you are working through your business and becoming a CEO stylist. Lauren calls us bosses, but CEO stylist is the same thing. So yeah, I have a few more things I need to do on my to-do list. I actually need to schedule some emails to go out to my audience. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.